Have you ever wondered why celebrities keep hiding their hairline even though they know they're balding but they still won't find a solution? This is actually one of the biggest mistakes you can make when it comes to hair loss is because when you start noticing any signs, you need to immediately address it and start finding solutions. Because the longer you ignore it, you're leaving your follicles to be in a very vulnerable position where a lot of DHT, which is one of the main leading factors of hair loss, infiltrate all your follicles, making them shrink, causing them to make these very weak hair structures, making them fall out very easy. If you're already balding and you think that getting a hair transplant is going to be your one and done solution, that's where you're wrong. Take for example Joe, who got a hair transplant but now has to deal with permanent scarring on the back of his head because it went wrong. That's actually the main reason why I reject the majority of people that come to me that want to get a hair transplant, is because the problem is they're over expecting that their hair transplant is going to get them back to as when they were a kid, but truthfully it's only going to fix a temporary problem, which is still going to cause more hair loss. Because you have to consider that even though your hairline might be fixed, all the hairs on the back here are still going to fall out due to male pattern baldness and unmanaged DHT. That's why when you start noticing your hairlines receding, it's very important to get those follicles back in place so they can regrow. Each and every single follicle we have has something called the papilla. Now we want to make sure the papilla is strong, it's dense, and it's not surrounded by too much DHT so it doesn't shrink our follicles so our hair becomes strong. That's the reason why I started suggesting to a lot of my clients who are only dealing with thinning hair is to try something like the Spectral DNC with 5% minoxidil. The main goal we want with this is to get our papillas to be working with our follicles and those surrounding areas that are showing signs of thinning that we can spray this on to make it a lot more thicker. A few weeks ago, I had a young client come in who was only 18 years old, very scared of losing all of his hair. It's because his hairline was already receding really badly and he had signs of thinning on his crown area and he really wanted to get a hair transplant. But I told him not to take that risk and try using Spectral DNC for at least a month consistently before coming back to me. He came back a few days ago for a follow-up, and the amount of progress that I seen on his hairline and his crown area, like especially in the areas where he was showing signs of thinning, got me to a point where I didn't even think he needed this at all. I was honestly surprised because when he came in the waiting room, I honestly didn't even recognize him because of his hair. Results may vary from person to person, but it depends how consistent you are with this to actually see some progress. If you're balding or you're noticing signs of a receding hairline, I'm telling you, try out the spray. I'll leave you a link so you can get one too.